When I walked into Marcus Books as an African-American man, I had a sense that I belonged somewhere.
The bookstore was home.
It's so important to have institutions like this built and sustained by Black communities.
They did not just set up a bookstore, they set up a community institution.
Part of the basis of their relationship was their love of literature when they were teenagers, which is when they met. And it stayed like that. I mean, they always read together, they read to each other. They just had a love of books.
You have to put Marcus Books and Julian and Raye Richardson really in a historical context. At a very young age, both were at Tuskegee University, led by Booker T. Washington, who espoused the philosophy of do for self. Julian Richardson studied lithography. He met his wife there.
At an incredibly young age, she started college, not only meeting my grandfather, but becoming a woman of the mind.
They would really scour the country looking for books about Black people, and that was a difficult thing to do. At that time, very few Black people were being published. There were very few Black publishing houses. My parents saw the need for Black people to have a source of information about themselves.
They were, publishing all kinds of things, posters, artwork, but they were also republishing Black books that had gone out of print. Success printing, that then turned into Richardson printing, that then turned into Marcus Books.
It was a meeting place for many organizations, but also a place that appreciated you, welcomed you, did not follow you around the store with mirrors on the walls,
When I came in, Julian Richardson, extremely humble. He would be walking out to check on me. And, hey, well, Walter, what are you thinking? What are you reading? He just wanted to engage. On Fillmore Street and the side streets, it was like a Harlem of the West Coast. Because not only were there jazz clubs and blues clubs, eventually as you get to the later part of the 1960s or so, there's going to be the office of the Black Panther Party. It really represented the Black community. You couldn't be in the family without taking a role in the bookstore.
I grew up in San Francisco. I grew up in the Fillmore district in one big purple Victorian where there was the Marcus Books on the bottom on the storefront. My grandmother, aunt, at some point cousins on the second floor. Everybody was responsible to each other, to the store, and to this broader commitment, which is about Black literacy.
And most people were not, certainly not in school, exposed to Black literature or literature about them in a positive way. People were not familiar with Black authors in the diaspora at all.
Raye Richardson took on the chairmanship of Black Studies at San Francisco State at a time when there was a lot of turmoil.
We were targeted for a lot of reasons, just like a lot of other Black organizations were. So we had challenges in terms of the greater society being threatened by us. Later, it was really just economics.
For African Americans, that independence, that notion of do for self, you provide jobs for your own community, is absolutely essential.
I've never stopped coming. I brought my granddaughters down here, and they get to read the history, and they get to see how great their people were and are.
Marcus Books is a community jewel, and it needs to be protected at all costs.
They were both of equal fire. It was a labor of love.